Hey guys, Bart coming to you from TST Industries in Florida, bringing you another episode of TST Garage. Today in the studio, we have a 2017 and up Yamaha FZ-09 MT-09, and we will be showing you the installation of our new Mech-GTR turn signals on that bike. We will be replacing the pumpkin look OEM signals with this new concept from TST Industries. I'm really excited about this product. There's nothing like it on the market at the moment. It's not a flush mount, it's not a pod signal, it's what I call a flush pod. It's low profile, very aerodynamic. We've incorporated some very sophisticated optics into the capsule. We're actually using one super high power LED to power the signaling circuit, and we also have a running light circuit on this unit. The installation is really simple. There are no screw fasteners. We use a spring-loaded ratcheting element that fastens this whole signal lamp behind your fairing, or in this case, a shroud. And the visual design cues for the design of this product came from looking at the front fascia of this bike and trying to match that really well with a signal unit that carries through the body lines and the lighting elements that this bike has designed in. So for the running light element, we have an interchangeable setup. It is available in several different colors, so you can choose whatever best accents your bike. For this particular bike, we're going to use hyper white because it's painted white and it'll really carry through that theme nicely. When you change your incandescent light bulbs to any aftermarket LED type signals, your signaling system will go into a condition we like to call hyper flash. The signaling system starts flashing faster because the LED signals draw much less current from the system, and the system's trying to alert you that there's something going on. So to combat that, we have an LED flasher relay that plugs in right under the seat. This is a separate unit. It's not included in these parts, but it's highly recommended that you get these as a combo. All right, guys, before we start wrenching on the bike, I wanted to quickly introduce you to another new product we have for this bike. We've recently rolled out with the integrated taillight that is available in a choice of clear smoke lens. It has signals built into the capsule, and the geometry has been vastly revised from the OEM setup. It really transforms the whole rear end. We do have a separate video on this component, so I encourage you to check that out. And for now, that's it. Let's hop on over to the bike and start stripping it down. Okay, the first step in the disassembly will require us to remove these two push fasteners, topmost and bottommost here. We use a small flathead screwdriver to press in the centers, and that's the means of unlocking those. And then you just pry them out, and it's that simple. Next, I will be removing these three fasteners using a 4mm Allen. And once that's done, you can remove this panel here by rotating it out. There is interference geometry fit here between this and this component, so it gets rotated and removed. And now we can pull this whole shroud here straight out. It has a friction fastener holding it in place, so it'll require a little bit of force. There's a peg going into a grommet here, and that holds it on. That's fairly simple here, and we can identify the plug that will need to be disconnected. Unroute the wire from the back side and disconnect the plug. And in addition, there's a fastener here that's just popped open. I mean, usually it has a little bit more friction, so sometimes you will have to use a flathead screwdriver to pry it open. This one just popped open easily. And now we have this wire completely free. We could switch over to a 10mm socket to remove these two fasteners. And now this whole assembly comes down, and we'll disassemble this signal off this piece. To do that, we need to remove this interference fastener. I'm going to use a small flathead to do that. Once this comes off, we grasp the signal, rotate and pull, and that comes out. I'll show you guys quickly how the locking here is achieved. This rubber boot fits through the accepting piece, and this goes in place like this, fits through these rubber boot windows, and that jams it in place, prevents it from coming out. So you pry these guys out, this jamming piece just comes off. Nice and easy. Next, we will be fitting our new signal into the well here on this shroud. Basically fits only one way. It's designed to fit the way the Yamaha signals fit. We'll grab one of these fasteners and bring it over the back end of the signal and press it in. It just ratchets down. And now I'm gonna get a larger flathead screwdriver to bottom out our fastener. Now what you want to do is make sure you get enough pressure on it so that it clicks as far as it'll go, and that will preload the little springy elements and ensure that your signal doesn't move around. All right, have a pretty good fit here. Now I'm going to assemble my running light element on here. There's a slot in this element that the wire fits through. It just gets pressed in place until the little locking tabs engage, and then we plug it in, and this is ready to go on the bike. I'm going to keep the wire over the top because we're going to lock it down here with this routing clip. On the way back in, I like to use a hand tool instead of a power tool. That way I don't damage any threads. And now we can plug this guy in and test it real quick, make sure we have proper function before we move forward. Have the running light, the signal light. All right, so now we will need to configure this wiring slightly different than it was configured from the factory. I'm going to run this plug behind these plugs and get this wire arranged in a way that after we lock down this little locking element that we took apart during this assembly, we don't have any of the colored wires showing, and instead the only part that shows from the side is the part of the wiring that's covered in the sheathing. All right. Now we can bring this element back in and see how we did. All right, so what we'll have to do is run the wiring from the signal through the back routing window. Basically the way the OEM setup was routed, with the only difference being that the plug now goes underneath these two plugs. And now we can put this in place. Make sure I'm not clamping any wires. That's all good. Press in that friction fit fastener. And now we could just replace all the fasteners and this shroud in the reverse order of disassembly. And then we'll move over to the other side. As you can see, the signal's flashing faster than the OEM rate of 85 cycles per minute. This is because of that symptom that I described in the beginning. Our relay will be subsequently installed under the seat here and it'll slow it down, so no worries there. Let's move over to the other side and continue the installation. On the right side of the bike, the steps are very similar. There are just a few steps that are slightly different. So I'm just gonna breeze right through this. We're gonna show it to you on video, and I'm just gonna highlight the differences on this side to better guide you guys. So the first difference is that the routing clip for the wires on the right side is a little bit different. It's It's one of these guys. Just undo it in opposite directions and take it off. We'll reuse it later. All the rest of the steps here are the same, so I'm just going to go and cruise. Okay, so once we get to this point, we'll unroute the wire and follow it up. And it turns out that on this side of the bike, the plug is in a slightly different place. It's behind here. So we need to remove this little peg from its hole accepting feature here. And this will just pop up, and we could pry back on this and access the plug back here. Same kind of a retainer for the plug. And just pop it out. We can move it down here and unplug it. And the wiring comes out, and we can move on with the same steps as on the other side. Boom, we're done. All right, guys, in about 10 minutes, we went from ashy to classy. We replaced this pumpkin geometry with this really high-tech looking signal system that is really congruent with the bike styling. Hope you guys like what you see here, and I encourage you to head on over to tstindustries.com, where you could access more info and photos of this product installed on bikes. And also, while you're there, check out the taillight and the relay. I think you guys will be very pleased with the combination of all those parts. See you there.